we all this evening? I am so sorry about last week, the live. I planned a really cool live as well, but that'll have to be postponed for about 2 weeks now. Yes, so I'm here. I'm going to try and last for as long as it takes to make this. I've got medicine to the side of me. So yeah, I had a sickness bug. Well, I was supposed to be away on holiday with my in-laws for their 50th anniversary, and I ended up coming home from that holiday because I had a sickness bug. And about 3 days after that, I ended up with COVID. So yeah, we are trying to prep. And also now the schools are on strike, so I've got my daughter home as well. So hello Alison and Tracy and Sue and Pauline. How lovely to have you all here. So today we are going to make, hi Kate, a fantasy map. This project has been in my head to do for a while. When I launched this collection, I had in my head of possibly doing a stencil that would do all of this, but it didn't do it in the way that I wanted. So I'm just going to show you a few tips and techniques to create your own. Hopefully, I'm not going to be showing you the full collection now because it is up on YouTube. We had the premiere at 7. If you missed that, you can go back and watch it to see all the stamp sets and the die sets as well. It's quite an extensive collection. It's a little bit different, so I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit nervous about how it's going to be received. So hopefully you all like it. So hi Kate and Sue and Sue. There's so many Sues in here, it's great. Anyway, I am going to flip the camera around. I just put up with the bad lighting on my face this time so we didn't have to fiddle with lighting. And I have put my piece of white paper on a bit of brown paper purely because, ooh, I look very orange. Purely because, let me just see if I can fix how orange I look. You've had a sickness bug as well. Whoever's told me you've just had a sickness bug, you're coming up as Facebook user. I don't know why, because everyone else I can see your name. So I can offer my sympathies properly, can you please just kind of possibly let me know who you are? I'm just going to take the saturation down a little bit so that I don't look quite so orange, because that's going to be a tad off-putting. Let's just make me look more human. Okay, I tell you, I don't know that that's made any difference whatsoever. Alison, I'm sorry you've been sick, Alison. It's been rotten. Right. Now let's get going. Now that I don't look like an Oompa Loompa. Happy now that I don't look like an Oompa Loompa. Right, so I've already prepped this stage and it didn't take that long to do, so it was a bit of a waste of time, but for some reason in my head I thought it would take ages. So I'm going to create a fantasy map. Now one of the main things is it's just a squiggle, but sometimes it can be hard to draw an obscure squiggle. So we have a cup of rice. It's a real thing, I promise. And I'm just going to sort of throw it like that. And basically what this does is it gives you a random outline to draw around, and then any bits that have escaped can become little islands. So I'm just going to very roughly, and it just helps with the randomness of things. So some of them you can decide to have as part of the mainland, and some of them you can decide to have as little islands. I'm just going to draw around this, and as I said, it just helps with creating utter randomness. So I have done this in my journal, so I'm going to draw around this one because I think that's quite a cool island. And then we've got one up here that can be a little island, and one here. Now that's too even for me. Have we got 3? Let's put decisions. I'm actually going to make that one big island there. But what it does is you do end up with something. It looks like Australia. Yeah, and you get something different every time, because I'm going to show you my original one. So I'm just going to tip that. So there you go. See, look, we've got a map. And that turned out very different to the one that's in my journal, which is the one we're actually going to work on. But I just thought it was quite, I saw that online. I saw that ages ago and I have no idea where I saw it. So random use for your rice. I'm just going to put that away, back in my cup so I don't make a mess. And now we are going to build on this to make a little treasure map. Hi Rianne. Okay, so just try and pretend that I've got a clean desk. I am going to pull out some pencils. They got posted today, my lovely, or was it no yesterday? They got, I don't no posted today. Yes, they got posted today. Yesterday was Sunday. I have no idea where I am. Yes, my hubby went out and posted them today for you. They've all been wiped down. Yeah, my husband's about the only one that could actually leave. Although we're not under any restrictions now, but still, knowing how contagious it is and how rough I felt, I'm trying to sort of be sensible. Okay, so I'm going to get a paintbrush. Let's get a few paintbrushes. And we're going to make a little fantasy map for our little pirate girls. So, honest thoughts here, guys. What do you think of the new collection? Thank you, Alison. It's a really it's a bit different, isn't it? I think to try and draw a random squiggle, what can tend to happen is it's very hard for our thinking brains to create randomness. We just can't do it. And then we can overthink it, and it just needs to be a squiggle. It doesn't need to be anything pretty. And as I said, this is why I decided not to do a stencil or anything like this, because by showing you this technique, it literally takes as many seconds as it takes to draw through a stencil, probably less. And it'll be different every time you do it, which is cool. Sue loves the collection. That's good. I don't know why I'm so nervous about it. Very nervous about this one this time. Also, I'm not very prepped because I've not been well. Now, the other thing is the pen that I've used is not water resistant, so we're going to get a bit of bleed with that. So it's going to be a case of we just need to embrace the imperfection and deal with it, you know. Sometimes things aren't perfect, and that's okay. So now I'm going to create more for it to look like a fantasy map by just adding a little bit of a blue outline. So this is going to be the last paper craft collection that will be released from JMC this year. Yeah, I might do some, well, to be honest, I've been working on a book that I was supposed to release in March and I never got around to doing it, finishing it. It's not that far off being finished, so hopefully I get that done. And then we're going to be working on lots of special bundles and things like that, but it's going to be the last sort of new release for the year. So I'm also open to suggestions because I'm going to be spending the next few months sort of prepping and getting ideas for releases next year. So if there's anything in particular that you would like to see that you feel needs added, really bad connection, I'm sorry. Well, it's on YouTube, so when you do get enough signal, it's a short video. It's only about 8 minutes long. The launch video is on YouTube, and it just sort of explains the story behind the collection. It was one of these ones. It was meant to be a digital collection, and then because I wanted to do the mixed media project, I wanted dies. And so then it turned into digital image. Yes, digital. I've been asked a few times to start bringing more digital collections. Yeah, they sort of have taken a bit of a back burner, haven't they? It's because in my head, I want them to be amazing. And I want them to have coloured versions too. And yeah, so that's how that's not happened. But I've got at least 2 collections sort of, well, at the minute they're in my head, I'm not gonna lie, they're in my head for next year, so we could possibly put that up to 4 and then have 4 digital collections going out through the year. That would be good. I think if I did steampunk again, I would most likely do steampunk as a digital collection. the last steampunk. I think steampunk is lots of people absolutely love it, but it's also not lots of people's things. It's quite niche, and I think that's what I'm a bit worried about with this collection. It could be a little bit niche, but we'll see how it goes. I love it. So at the end of the day, I'm happy. I design for myself half the time. It's terrible. You just hope other people like what you like too. So just getting a bit more, and already it's starting to look like a little map. Add a bit of shading around here. I'm also thinking that I'm not wanting to plan it too much. Sometimes if I just take a bit of time and just play in my sketchbook, things occur. Like this was never designed. This was never in my head to be a collection. You know, I never sat down and thought, you know what, I'm going to draw some pirates. That would make a fun collection. It sort of just happened. I drew one and then drew loads, and then I was sort of seemed to be surrounded by lots of piratey things, and it kind of grew from there a little bit. Right, so now I'm thinking that we're going to bring Lady Hook in just here, like so. So I think I am going to get sort of a land type colour. Let's see if we've got a sandy colour, and then we can start adding some details into the map. So I'm just going to put an edging with this brown. Maybe not everywhere, but we're just going to put it in to some of the areas just so it doesn't look quite so white. And this will be when I wished I had swatched it first rather than just going straight on the page. Oh, that's okay. I can live with that colour. I'm just going to build up lightly in different areas. I'm not going to overthink it. Added dyes brings more dimension. Yes, I am in the process of doing a mixed media project. It's covered, the layers of gesso are sort of drying at the minute. Oh, sorry, I just bashed my microphone there, so I hope that didn't pop in your ears too much. So now we're just adding a few elements. Now this is the sort of thing you could really relax and get into the zone and put loads of detail in, a bit almost like Zentangling, and just sort of get lost in the details and the flow of it all. Or you can just sort of knock it out quickly like this and just bit of blue, bit of brown, bish bash bosh, and we're done. Thank you, glad you're liking the idea. I want to see lots of fantasy maps now. I have to say that one thing I am really enjoying about the lives at this moment in time is that I'm loving the fact that you are feeling inspired by them. Like when we did the paper houses, I saw loads of paper house posts after that, and then I saw lots of journals and stuff. So I absolutely love the fact that you're giving it a try. So that is brilliant, thank you. And if there's anything you'd like me to experiment with, so we can have a play together, then feel free. So again, I'm just going to bring some random bits of shading into the main bit as well. Now I'll probably have to sort of lift some of this to dry it off a little bit so that we can sort of start into another. Now I thought I was so organised, but I've not actually plugged in my dryer. So we will do that now. Thank you, Pauline. Right. For those of you that have got earplugs in, I'm about to turn on the heat gun. 1, 2, 3. just applying heat to both sides so that it doesn't get too warped. Now, in the Lady Hook stamp set, so this is Lady Hook, excuse me, hiccups. All we need is a fairy. I think I should have put a fairy in. But so if you've got any fairy stamps, we've got the Captain Hook, basically, the crocodile, the clock for the tick-tock croc. We've got a diamond and best mateys, but we've also got X. So we're going to do X marks the spot. And that's the reason that I put that in. Put the whole thing in, just so again, I have these ideas. I was thinking, oh, I really want to make a fantasy map. I need an X stamp for that. Let's stick one in. It's basically how I design. That's why I'm asking you guys, if there's anything in particular you want, let me know. And I can try and put something together. Right, so I've got that in red. Oops. And let's have X marks the spot. Dun dun dun. Okay. So then with treasure maps, you tend to have these sort of like trail lines. So we're going to do that, and then we will add, so I just got a brown gel pen. And I'm just going to add some trail marks. Excuse me, I have a visitor. Hello. Hopefully she'll not cause as much devastation as she did last time. Let's have it swirling about, you know, just to confuse the pirates. So I'm not overthinking it, it's just lines. There is nothing overly exciting or difficult about that. Hello, Dominic. 10-pin bowling characters. Pins and balls. Ooh, that's different. I once thought of a chess. I once thought of doing chess. Are you going back out? Which didn't last long. Right, this side of the map's looking a bit empty, so I'm going to put some marks over on this side as well. Okay. I love it when you have little stamps alongside the big stamps. Do you know, sometimes it's the little stamps that they're the ones that sort of bring it all together and you can do so much with. Right, I'm going to now add some more details. So basically, Lady Hook's there. So there's no point drawing too much over this side because it's going to get covered. So we'll draw some mountains now. We're literally, just anywhere, I'm just going to draw little shapes. Anyone can do that. That's, if you can write a U or an N, you can do that. It's not overly taxing, so don't panic and think I can't draw. You don't need to be able to draw. We'll maybe have one up here as well because I like things in threes. Okay, so we've got some little mountains. We'll add a bit more extra shading in here as well. And then we should maybe have some trees. So for a tree, I'm just going to do a line and then sort of a, nothing taxing. Like borders and backgrounds and scenes. Okay, so we've got one forest there. Let's have another one up here. I'm going to show you there that it's not artistic in the slightest. You don't need to be able to draw for this at all. I need it in threes, so I need trees somewhere else. Let's have one. I'll just have one lone tree up here. Okay. So now we've just added a little bit more detail to the map. Okay. So I'm going to get the same pencil that we had before. I'll get that one and let's get a green one out as well. can also get a darker brown. Darker brown and olive green. Didn't pick up the olive green. I did. That's weird, look. That is brown. Looks green. Okay, so we have got the original pencil. So I'm just going to colour in the little mountains. Just let's move her out the way while we work on this. So if you actually look at map pictures, if you go on Pinterest and stuff, or you can really get into it and do really detailed ones. If you can actually watch people draw maps and things, and it's very interesting, and they put a huge amount of detail and artwork in, and some people start drawing ships and things like that, but that's where you can start to use your stamps and things. But these different shapes, I want to make it really accessible to everybody. Anyone can do this. You do not need to be able to draw. I said if you can write your name, then you can do these, so we're all good. Oops. So again, just going to get a bit of water. We'll just pull that out like so. I keep bashing the microphone. I am sorry if that's popping in your ear. I'll move my water away from it so I'm not likely to do that anymore. Right. And then we'll just add a bit more surrounding it. So it's almost like we're grinding it, you know, when we grind an image. Now we're just grinding the little mountain things. So we will be giving away this collection. That's what I said that I would do from now on, that every single new collection that we run out will have a giveaway on somewhere. I'm thinking this one's going to be Instagram, so I've not written the post, so that will either go up later tonight or it will go up first thing tomorrow. So there is an opportunity to win. It will just be the stamps because I'm very short on quantities of the dies. Basically, the Create and Craft have taken them all. So I've none spare. Hi Martin. I'm just going to lift that a little bit because it was just looking a bit too heavy. So we'll move that. But yes, we are giving away a set of the stamps. So that the details of that will be over on Instagram pretty soon. Okay. Now, as I said, because of the pen that I've used, that has bled slightly. I don't know if I can just, let's see if I can show you on. Right. So we do have a little bit of bleeding here, but don't worry, because as you can see from the overall picture, it's looking at it there, you're not going to see it. It doesn't really matter at all. Right, so now I'm going to get in my greens. So we're just going to add a little bit of green to these trees. And again, these are just scribbles. I'm just adding colour just for a little bit of extra interest. You don't need to do this if you don't want to. You can take it as far as you want to. Okay. And actually, with the bleeding lines and things like that, all we're getting is it's looking aged. And if you think of a treasure map, they do tend to be aged and torn and a bit battered. So this green is sort of coming quite a bit away from the tree. So it's just a suggestion of there being something there. Right, I'm just going to pull the colour out a little bit. Again, just sort of grounding it ever so slightly and just making it look a bit more like it would on a map. And I think that's about as. Now what you could do if you wanted is some of the, you know, like this stamp, you could sort of very lightly stamp it on parts of it. Same with the treasure map and things like that. Do I want to do that? Yeah, why not? Let's go for it. Now, I don't want it going on to my C, so, and I also want it just to be really pale. So I'm going to get a really pale stamp block. See, I've split it there, but it doesn't matter. Tea bags at school to make an age map. Oh yeah, there's all sorts of things you can do. I love coffee staining things. If you ever coffee stained like papers and stuff, or tea stained them. Right, so I'm not going to stamp this perfectly because I don't want to, but you know, like some stamps have a compass. Now we do have a compass in the die set, but just almost to give that sort of extra look of a bit of detail. So as I say, I don't want it going in the C, so I'm just sort of masking it off slightly, and I'm using my fingers so it's not a perfect stamp. But it just helps to add a little bit extra detail. Or what we could do as well, so we've got that. Let's see if I've got a little green in here, and then we will take, so we've also got these stamp sets here that have got textures, so that can just, again, just add that little bit of extra texture. So we could add a bit of extra texture to the detailed parts. So if I get, let's see, a green. I'll show you this on the other camera in a minute, because actually if we switch to it we might be able to. It's just adding a little bit of extra texture and detail. So you can do it by hand doodling, or you can pull out stamps, basically whatever you want to do. I'm actually going to do this in brown as well, just to make it look slightly more aged. Okay. Oh, sorry, I think that about does it. So let's put you back onto the overhead, and then we'll add a lady hook just there. We'll maybe ground her. We do also have some coins and things, which I don't know if we could add. What do you think? Yes to the coins or no to the coins? Just by the X. I quite like it, to be honest. Right, so I'm going to stick her down. What do we think? Yes or no to the coins? Yes, Sue said yes. Oh, she could stand on the coins. She could do, but I've already stuck her down now, sorry. I'm just going to put it by the X. And then I'll work out what sentiment we're going to have. I just want to ground her slightly. So I'm going to grab a grey pencil. And do this incredibly lightly, because last time I tried to do a grey pencil on a thing, I ended up completely ruining it. So I'm just going to go very lightly, just there, just to ground her slightly. Like so. I don't think I'm going to do a doodly border because I think that's going to take away from the map. So I'm going to leave that as is. She needs a little bit of white detail. I've not done any white doodling on her, as do the coins. And then I just need to decide if we are going to put a sentiment on it. I'm just going to add some white details to her because it makes all the difference, in my opinion anyway. And in your journals, it's all about doing what makes you happy. So these stamps will be released on the 2nd of October on Create and Craft. I'm also dreading the journey down there. My original tickets were cancelled because it's not going on the Sunday now due to work on the line. So I'm having to go Saturday, which is a strike day. So I'm having to take different trains to different places and a bus ride, all to places and stations I've not been before. So yes, I'm tad nervous about that, but eventually we'll get there. And then we were going to be on at 7 and 11. I've just added bits to her cheek and I wished I hadn't, so I'm going to rub them off. There we go. Now, should we have a sentiment? What have we got? We've got I wonder whether we could have it's a plunderful life. That one would fit just there. Yeah, should we go for that? Shall I risk it for a biscuit? Yes. Everyone's saying yes. Let's risk it. Okay. Right. With your stamps, because these are a bit longer, sometimes it's really easy to lose the shape. So if you put them down flat, they will find their shape, their natural shape. Which means if you pick it up like that, that is straight now. Whereas sometimes when you try and put it down straight by yourself, you can end up accidentally putting it on the wonk. Right. So we'll stamp this. Now I do have to consider the fact that I am stamping in my journal, which is incredibly uneven. So we just need to give it a little bit of care. So I'm going to pop that on there, give it even pressure and just give it a second. The ink is on the stamp, you want it on the paper, so just need to give it a second to transfer. And there we go, it's a plunderful life. So there we go, there we have our fantasy map. So I look forward to seeing lots of fantasy maps in the group. And I hope you like the stamp set. Probably try and clear this so it's not an assault on the eyes. There we go. How to tidy up in the craft world. Push it in the corners. There we go. So that is it for today. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I won't be back next week because I will be in Peterborough having done TV during the day. So next week we are on Create and Craft. The following week I will be back to do the live that I'd planned, which was 1 stamp set 4 seasons. So we will do that next time. But thank you ever so much. Stay tuned in the group. The team have made the most awesome samples and they will be sharing them from tomorrow onwards. And check out the giveaway on Instagram. I will notify you everywhere when that is live. So thank you very much. Take care and goodbye.